Good morning, friends. Today is July 24th, 23. So I'm gonna make a follow-up first and then continue with the video number 8. So there's a certain scene around the monolith uh, when they take the photo. Uh, these guys, the Haywood and company, Halvorsen, they stand as five and then one is taking the picture. I don't know, I think that is insinuating Area 51. That means like something from above, right? Area 51, Roswell, New Mexico. Uh, and also, I believe that Halvorsen uh, and Halvorsen is Christianity, right? Uh, and Haywood is Judaism. But Haywood is always in charge, and he tells Halvorsen to eat it or else, right? Uh, all right. So the second one, the secret briefing really has to do with how to conduct uh, the cover story or to cover up this scientific revolution in the history of mankind, right? But then how to really try to destroy it. Of course, they did not show you this briefing, but the later behavior toward that monolith and what it is and so on, the one that they said is a scientific revolution, but now cover story says it's an epidemic and terrorism and so on, right? So that's what is in the briefing is how to really pound and destroy and kill and maim the adherents of that monolith, right? Uh, Zoroaster, I brought Zoroaster up, but I want to tell you something about Zoroaster, or what we say back in the East, Zarathustra, right? These guys, there is really no scripture or holy books or anything of the sort as a traditional religion for Zoroaster or Magi's. We call them the Magi's, right? How they existed basically was uh, in the West similar to the Vikings, if you will. Not that they're the same, but like the Vikings, they never had scripture or they never had formal religion. But what they had was heritage, relationship, a certain set of customs and ideals and social behavior and they have set of rules as well as and some of course some religious like Odin or Wotan, which is reverse for NATO, right? And that stuff, and they existed as a one community. Their rules for their sexuality and blah blah uh, and other things is so liberal, right? But they really never had anything but runes, right? We know of their runes, written on stones and so on. Until later, there were books and uh, uh, documentations about their history and so on. Some of it we know, some of it still somewhere hidden. Uh, but uh, but that's what Zoroaster is. Now they say he had the Zend Avesta. Now the earliest history of in the world for mankind is really that of Muslims, early Muslims, right? And they didn't have a book. We know that, right? They didn't have literature or book. They were just such thing, and they were very extremely lax on their sexuality as well. Uh, Now, the Western or modern propaganda says that their literature and books, their library was burned by Alexander the Great. Yeah, so much for that, right? Similar to saying Omar, the second caliph, burned the library of Alexandria. I assure you, folks, I know that for certain. There was no library in Alexandria. There was no Zoroaster library in Persia that Alexander the Great burned, right? So that's that. Let's see. I have anything. One fun note, if you look at the enclosure when they descended down on that hole in the ground, there were tripods, right? Tripods here and there, and, like surrounding, aside from the floodlights, there were tripods, right? Surrounding the monolith. These look to me like the sentinels in the Matrix. Yeah, go ahead and look it up. I think that's where they get a lot of from that movie, and that movie and Kubrick in general, in all his movies, takes a lot from uh, uh, Friedrich Nietzsche, right? Rabbi Friedrich Nietzsche. He takes a lot from him. Even The Shining, uh, if you read Nietzsche's "Thus Speaks the Zarathustra" book, you will see it in there. Oh no, it's spelled out right. Okay, now on to the next video.